Hello everyone, my name is Erica and I did my research topic on self-driving cars. Why I chose this topic is I saw a lot of news headlines about self-driving cars and it just looked really interesting and I wanted to learn more about it, so that's why I chose it. My thesis statement of my paper was, Google's self-driving cars will improve our safety on the road, our environment and economy, and it will give people more independence while driving. And as you can see on the right top, there's a picture of clustered traffic, and on the bottom is just a collision. So throughout this whole presentation, I'm going to be talking about Waymo. It's the Google car project that they began in 2009. They had a mission, and their mission was to create a safe and easy way for everyone to get around without having a human in the driver's seat. So obviously there's a picture of the two different types or looks of the Google car that they created. And they have many cool features in the car that are making it able to run the way it does. They built a three-dimensional map that highlights information on the road. Things that Waymo can read are curbs, sidewalks, traffic lights, lane markers, crosswalks, stop signs, and other road features. They put in many sensors, which they can sense like pedestrians, cyclists, other vehicles, road work, and these are proven to be better than a responsive driver today. So that's why self-driving cars are so they have so many advantages to our road. So Waymo can understand that objects on the road move differently, which then a software that is in the car can predict the possible ways in which these objects will choose a specific path. When the car is driving, it does three different things. First, it senses the lights around itself. So basically a million of laser beams help see color and a detailed picture of its surrounding. Secondly, it uses radar to predict how the objects will move and what they will do next. And lastly, it uses high-resolution cameras to predict traffic light signals. So these three things make the car capable of driving, obviously. It sees, identifies, plans, and predicts. They're still trying to perfect Waymo, obviously. It's not something that is common because we don't see it in Minnesota yet, but it's only being tested in 2 states right now, and that is California and Arizona. Companies are extremely interested in self-driving vehicles. In California alone, there have been 7 different companies that have requested permits for self-driving cars because, like I said, it's going to become a thing that is near our future. We will be seeing these on the roads. We may even get into one of our own. But they hope that Waymo will make it around the United States when it's perfected. Okay, so now I'm going to give you some reasons why self-driving cars are so beneficial to the road conditions. When I was doing my research paper, the biggest impact that self-driving cars had was that it'll improve our safety on the road. There'll be less accidents because, like the car Waymo, it's aware of everything that's going around it. Us humans today are so distracted when we're driving from children, cell phones, passengers, and if we all had a Waymo car, it would just be easy to get in and play on your cell phone as much as you want without getting into an accident. In 2010, there were approximately 35,000 vehicle accidents in the United States alone. These crashes have been caused by drunk driving, distracted driving, and other impairments. self-driving cars will most definitely decrease this statistic. Another thing I found while researching was the flow of traffic will improve. Imagine if every car on the road ran the same way. If every car on the road ran the same way, they would understand the road method equally. We have so many different driver levels, like we have older people that shouldn't be on the road, we have teenagers that just got their license, and we have parents, and they're not all the same ability to driving. So if we all had self-driving cars, it would make the flow of traffic easier because they could all be ran off the same system and it wouldn't matter as much. Another way that self-driving cars will help is drinking and driving. I had a friend in high school that was drinking at the bars one night and did not have a designated driver to get home. So she drove home and got into an accident. Luckily, she had mild injuries, but she faced many charges for the rest of her life, and it was something that she regretted so much. If we had self-driving cars, it would just be easy to get into a car and get home safely and not have to deal with any consequences. Like Uber, they have many advantages to us too. You can get a designated driver if you're drunk and you need a ride home when you don't have one. So Waymo would improve that as well. The graph on this slide shows the car accident deaths from 2006 to 2015. So they are decreasing, but in 2015 they bumped back up. So I think it's important that these self-driving cars will make their way around the United States, just because there are way more accidents than there has ever been in the United States. So another thing I found that Waymo would improve is the fuel, environment, and economy. So they have been shown to have fuel efficiency and many environmental benefits. Since self-driving cars can navigate better on the highway than most humans nowadays, it can enable vehicles to be powered in non-conventional ways that can reduce energy. So many companies that are looking into self-driving cars are aiming for electric vehicles versus normal gasoline vehicles with combustion engines. Studies have shown that excessive braking and speed and reaccelerating all release a large amount of emission from the car. And if everyone had a Waymo car, it would be so much better because the companies that are looking into self-driving cars are formatting these cars so that the robot does not do things like excessive braking or reaccelerating really fast or excessive speed. So yeah, using electric cars would reduce the large amounts of emission being released into the environment, which then obviously would help the environment. And lastly, self-driving cars will likely help our economy in the long run. There is a study being done in Europe, and it has been showing many improvements. There will be less traffic fines that will have to go through the government because these Waymo cars obviously know what they're doing. They've been programmed by experts. There will be less money spent on gasoline, so that'll bring the economy down, and many more jobs will be created in industries. Massive amounts of money could be recouped from being spent on older mass transit projects like trains, and all of these things will make our economy grow, and maybe we could potentially pay off some of the debt that has been created. And last but not least, another advantage to Waymo cars is there will be many more opportunities and independence. So it'll open a lot of doors that have been excluded from people who potentially cannot drive. It may be life-threatening if something occurs to the car because this individual may not be able to do much about it while they're in the car. But most research has shown that self-driving cars are able for those who have been excluded. It will encourage adoption, lower the price of technology, and enhance network benefits. As drivers will become more and more used to not driving, they may lose their abilities to driving, which could be dangerous if in the long run self-driving cars are not a thing anymore. With this technology, we could go to something different. But yeah, so basically it will help the disabled, so people who are in wheelchairs who are unable to drive, or people who are physically and mentally can't drive, these people can now drive. And people who love to sit on their cell phone or have kids, they can sit on their cell phones while they're in this car or keep their kids occupied while in the car without having to drive and being distracted and get in a car accident. So there'll be many opportunities and independence while driving if self-driving cars are becoming a thing in the future. So in conclusion, self-driving cars are becoming a thing that is commonly talked about. Like I said, when I was trying to choose a topic, this was one of the headlines on the news and it interests me a lot. So I was like, oh, I'll learn more about it. And I learned so much about it. The main advantages to having self-driving cars are it'll improve our safety on the road. Many die from car crashes every year, and this self-driving cars invention will decrease that statistic greatly. It'll also improve our environment, less gas and emission being released into our environment. In the long run, it will help our economy, less gas being pumped, and we can pay off more debts that we have. And lastly, it will open up more doors for people and you'll have more independence while driving. Thanks for listening.